yourself a suit and tie and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
Your Talkback lawyer, David Whiting, is ready, willing and able to help you with any legal problems you might have. 1300 222 774 is our number. Give us a call. He'd love to hear from you. David, good morning.
Virginia.
There you are.
I am.
Try again, David. You're coming in and out. Let's try that.
Okay.
Are you a long way away from the microphone? Where are you today? Where are you broadcasting from?
I'm from home today.
Yes, well, that sounds a little bit better. Describe your circumstances to us, please.
Well, I've got a computer set up that matches the one at the office. The house was built in 1909, so it has lovely 14-foot ceilings.
Oh, nice. I can hear that
and
echo.
it's yes, I've got the heater going. It's very pleasant, thank you.
Is there a nice, dog lying at your feet or something like that?
No. We had two dogs. They were with us for a long time, but are not with us no longer.
Everyone's getting...
We haven't got another one because the issue then becomes, well, who's going to look after dogs when you go on holidays?
Yeah, well, that's true. Everyone's wanting to get what they call a quarantine puppy. You've not fallen for that?
No. And I just think of the how the dogs will feel when you start going back to work and you no longer have... they no longer share the time with you.
Yeah, I think that's true. And also
a pack animal without a pack.
Yes, and when the puppy has been trained and learned that there'll always be a whole house full of people there, that's going to be a tricky one. Anyway, we have tricky problems to solve and you're the man to solve them. 1300 222 774. I can quickly update everyone. Premier Daniel Andrews has just given his daily press conference. There are 2 new cases in Victoria, just 2 new cases of coronavirus. 12 people are in hospital, 11 of them are in intensive care. But as he said to me earlier in the program, we are at the moment staying the course in Victoria with the lockdown. David, you had some homework last week which potentially brought together 2 of our Talkback callers with the same problem, but different ends of the problem.
Well, there was Jenny from McKinnon and Brian from Bayswater, but it sounded like that they were neighbours.
Didn't it?
Jenny was in a block of units and she was one of the units at the back, and the units drained across a neighbour's property, and we think that Brian owned the property next door. So they shared a problem even if they weren't neighbours. And the issue is that there was a drainage pipe servicing the units that went to presumably a water authority pit or Melbourne Water discharge point down the track. And the question was, if the pipes broke, whose responsibility is it? There's no law on it. So the assumption is that the responsibility for the maintenance of the pipe is for the people who continue to enjoy its benefit. So let's assume that I have the right to drain across your property. The assumption is that in the area of perhaps 2 metres wide, I will put a pipe, and the pipe takes the water away. And if there is something that causes that pipe to break, well, it's up to me as the owner of the pipe to deal with the issue, although there might be, as in one of the calls that we had, some problems with some trees that had broken into the pipe. So if I'm running it across your property, you can't do anything on your property that interferes with my right of drainage. But at the same time, I don't have the right to allow my water to run all over your property. It's got to stay within the easement. So the primary obligation is the person who gets the benefit from the pipe, but they could be entitled to a contribution or an indemnity from the person who interferes with the pipe.
This is one of those tricky ones, isn't it? If we boil it right down here, David, where the two parties are going to have to dig deep and find some goodwill and some cooperation.
Yeah, I can imagine a couple of other situations. I acted for some companies in the past where we used to like to run water pipes across someone else's property for agricultural purposes.
Yeah.
And of course, in that case, the person who wants to take the water to his or her property is absolutely dead set keen to make sure that there is no breakage in the pipe. But this is something different. This is surplus down the track.
Yep. Thanks for digging into that. David is here waiting for you, 1300 222 774, if you'd like to call in. Jerry in Caulfield South gets to kick things off this morning. Hi, Jerry, because I have a feeling that your particular dilemma is going to be shared by a lot of people. Good morning.
Good morning, Virginia. Good morning, David. Yes, I believe it will be as well. I'm calling behalf on my mother who booked a trip last year. Can I mention the name of the company?
I don't think you need to, Jerry. No. Everybody's going to be in the same boat.
No problem. Anyway, so she received an email last week saying that the trip has been cancelled, and we were waiting for the official cancellation email. But they're only offering a credit note, and the credit note will apply to the end of the year, but they also want a $99 rescheduling fee. Now, this is from the booking agent, and they're claiming that the airlines and other agents are not offering refunds. So that's why they're not offering it.
Jerry,
where do we stand?
Okay. Every case turns on its facts, but let's give you a principle. As a matter of logic, in most cases, you can't contract out of a statutory obligation.
Yep.
And so your starting point ought to be Section 35 of the Australian Consumer Law and Fair Trading Act, which says that if a contract becomes impossible, such as, the law prevents me travelling, then the contract comes to an end and everybody gets their money back. That's the effect of Sections 36 and 35. That would give you entitlement to a full refund. Now, there is then a provision in Section 37 that says that to all intents and purposes, the tour operator can make an application to a court if they feel that the outcome is unjust, having regard to the monies that they may have spent. They can go to court and ask for an order that they keep some of the money that's been paid to them, or in fact that they get more money. Now, the interesting with that is it imposes an obligation on, in this case, the operator, and would require the operator to disclose all of the financials to justify their claim. So I don't see that there will be many people, many tour operators who will do that. So your starting proposition is that the tour has become impossible by virtue of Section 35. I'm entitled to X. And I don't believe that a force majeure clause, as most of these contracts contain, works. I don't believe you can contract out of Sections 35 and 36 of the Act.
Yep, thank you.
Does that help?
Absolutely. That's pretty much what my understanding of the consumer law was. And I just wanted to confirm it. I've been in touch with Choice as well, and they just mentioned about the ACCC expects that you'll receive a refund, but they do write, however, in the event is cancelled due to government restrictions, this impacts your right under the consumer guarantee. So I wasn't sure what that meant.
The Australian Consumer Law and Fair Trading Act incorporates the Australian Consumer Law is a federal document. It's incorporated in Victorian law by that legislation, but Section 35 is a different section. You have those rights. South Australia has them and New South Wales have them, but nobody else does in the country.
All right, Jerry, good luck.
May I say one last question?
No, not the last question, but what did you want to say, David?
Before I also had Kate from a couple of weeks ago, and Kate owned a unit in a block of units, and there is a tenant in a unit down the road who keeps parking his car in her parcel, in her car park. What does she do?
Yep.
And the answer to that question was there are a couple of options, but and the other thing is that we know that the tenant in that particular case is in ministry housing, so we assume that the tenant doesn't have a great deal of money. So what does she do? There is the possibility of taking a dispute between owners in owners' corporations to VCAT, but quite frankly, when I look at the owners' corporation legislation and the basis for bringing a claim, there doesn't appear to be a right or obligation in the Act or rules that the tenant is breaching. it's a straight action for trespass.
Oh, really?
So that means that you go off to the magistrates' court and seek an order that the car be removed and an injunction that it not park there again. My problem is that that's going to cost you a fair amount of money.
Yeah, it really will. And
from someone who is very unlikely to be in a position to pay you back.
Yep, good point. Jerry, thanks for your call. This comment has come in on text this morning, David, following your discussion with Jerry about what he should do with the refund for the trip. I hope David is wrong and they're not all in the same boat.
Very good.
Very good, yeah. Boom, boom. Boom tish. Just there. Meredith has called in on the similar thing, so we'll get to you a little bit later, Meredith. But Jeff has called in from Dalesford. Hi, Jeff. Good morning.
Good morning, David and Virginia. Love your show.
Go right ahead. Good day.
Hello.
How can we help you, Jeff?
Go right ahead.
Yeah, good day. Look, my son is sharing a house with someone. He's renting a room from the owner of the house, who lives there as well. And he accidentally locked, I know this is a very minor problem, but I just want to see where he stands. He blocked the toilet with too much paper. It was obviously an accident. And the owner went straight to a plumber, got a plumber out. She's got a bill for $280. She's asking him to pay it. What do you think of that? Do you think he's got obligations for that, or I would have thought half would have been fair, maybe. I don't know.
Well, he's the one who caused the problem. The starting proposition, Jeff, is it is your son's problem. Your son caused an issue that cost $280 to fix. So you then might come along and say, well, it didn't need a plumber, in which case I don't have to pay anything. And your second argument might be that the plumbing bill is too high. I don't know. I don't know what work was involved.
Well, he did know how to clear it because he'd seen me do it when he lived at home. So if she'd only asked him, he would have been able to fix it. He said that to me, you know. It's a bit weird that she didn't even ask me. But, anyway. But thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks for calling in this morning. Lisa is in Bulleen. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure.
I have a residential lease of 10 months. In just plumbing works that were just done, it was discovered that there's a huge sinkhole under the side of the house. I've measured it myself up to 1.9 metres deep, and I couldn't go any further because my stick wasn't bigger. But I'm just wondering, is it possible for me to actually vacate the property immediately on the health issues, just because I've had a cough since early May, and I think it's sort of directly as a consequence of this sinkhole.
Do you mean early April, do you, Lisa?
Early March.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Because we're not yet at May.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit nervous. Sorry.
Lisa, you could make an application to VCAT to determine the lease.
Yep.
And you could ask that the date for termination of the lease be the day you walk out, today, tomorrow.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you then have the argument about whether the date of whether in fact the house is unsafe, the point at which it became safe.
Okay.
Though don't know the whole. On the basis of what you've told me, I would have thought the house would be, the place that you've rented is no longer safe.
I'd say so, yes.
And if there was a concern, the only thing I can assume is that there is a very large leak somewhere under your property.
There is.
And so there'd be moisture and other issues that would affect your health.
Mm-hmm.
So if the landlord won't agree to an immediate surrender, make an application to VCAT and ask VCAT to determine the lease as at the day you leave.
Would the view of the plumber be material here, David Whiting? If a plumber came along to fix that problem, as you say, happened there, Lisa, wouldn't the plumber emerge from that situation and say, there's a ruddy great giant sinkhole here, I'm going to tell the landlord that you should get out? I mean, is their view not material to her claim?
Yes, I don't want Lisa to have to pay for the plumber.
No, but the plumber's already been, right?
The plumber's already been, yeah.
So the plumber would surely have a view.
Oh, absolutely. You have a report from the plumber. It will make your
I-
case at VCAT significantly stronger.
Yeah, I asked the agent for a plumber's report, and he said, "I'll chat to the plumber," and never heard back from him again.
Yeah,
So,
you need to
Yeah.
get that report.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That report's going to
Great.
completely make your case. Good luck. Just get out of there,
So
will
with
you?
some pictures.
Yeah, I've got a lot of pictures too.
No,
okay,
but-
well, thank you very much.
But seriously, just make
Thank you,
sure you're
Lisa.
safe, Lisa. That's the most important thing right
yeah,
now. Okay.
I just want to get out. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for
bye-bye.
calling in. Helen has called in from North Balwyn with, again, a problem that many of us might share. Hi, Helen.
Oh, hello. Yes, look, my inquiry is about those really large, luminous charity bags that seem to always pop in our letterbox. They're great at picking them up when they're full, but when they're empty, they're just left blowing in the breeze. And it actually says on the pink one that the bag is the property of the company. So I'm just wondering, should they be picking up the empty bags for us?
It would be logical for them to do so, Helen. My expectation is that they will pay contractors to deliver the bags and they will collect the full ones themselves. So they would probably only expect to get back one in 20, one in 40.
Yeah.
So it's casting bread upon the waters and collecting some.
Yes, but the annoying thing is the bag does say that wherever the bag is, it's the property of the distributor.
And have you rung the distributor?
I do, and when you do call, you never get a response. You actually leave a message, and they may get back to you in a few days. It just seems quite a long process. Then they may pick it up, but still, it's left in your letterbox. Sometimes it's almost just hanging by just a little bit. They seem to distribute it by motorbike.
Sure, but why don't
Pick
you
it
just
up
chuck, Helen, if you don't want it, why don't you just chuck it out?
Oh, it's more annoying when it just floats in, as trash in the street. And I actually find I pick them up as I walk the dog. Do you?
So it's more other people's than yours, Helen.
Yeah, or people leave it out for a long time and it's, they're hoping it'll be collected. So it is kind of it's such a wasteful exercise and such a littering problem, I find.
Are you on Facebook, Helen? Why would you not make a complaint on Facebook, on their Facebook page
Oh, okay.
of the charity, of the what you might call the unreasonableness of leaving these things around?
The nature of the distribution itself, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, take it public.
So don't go to the distributor, go to the charity. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Good luck.
All right. Thanks for that.
Thanks, good to hear from you. Judy has called in from the Basin this morning. Hi, Judy. Judy,
morning.
hello.
Hello.
Go right ahead.
Now, I've got a problem here from the local council. I've got paperwork for the proposed construction. It's the sealing of our road. It's a public road. We've been here 28 years, and they want to charge us. They're asking for $7,000. Why do we have to? Why are we being discriminated against? Did you pay for your road? Where do I go from
My road was made
here?
when I moved in, Judy.
Yes, it wasn't here.
The council can raise money for roads such as yours in one of two ways. They can impose, the usual way to do it is with a thing called a private street construction scheme. And that will, in the normal course, involve disclosure to a lot of people of what's planned, and you can have a discussion and, if necessary, a fight about it, and you might get enough neighbours to come along and agree with you that the road does not need to be made.
Oh, it definitely needs to be made. We've been breathing in.
Okay. Then then you're at the point where you have this. Well, so they can do it that way, and if enough people say that it will happen, then it gets done. The other way that a council can do it is with a separate rate. So they could allocate a separate rate for a period of years to a particular area and make you pay it through the rate. There is a process for appealing a private street construction scheme, but as I understand it, your issue is you want the road, you just don't want to have to pay for it.
Exactly. We're being discriminated against. Yes.
Right.
Well, no, you're not being discriminated against. It depends on the development stage when your road was initially constructed, because you now can't do a subdivision without making the roads and curbing and channeling and all of those things. So most of the roads in your area will have been prepared on the basis that the person who did the subdivision made the road. Your road's just much older. So have a look at private street construction schemes and see what fights you can have.
There's 613 in total roads they're doing, and 594 of them have to pay.
Yes,
don't we pay that in our road taxes? Don't we pay that in our petrol tax?
Well, the petrol tax goes to the federal government. Your local rates are designed for maintenance and as a general proposition, not improvements. So the expectation, so if I was a subdivider and I was doing a subdivision in your area, I would need to make the road and then hand it over to the council finished. Okay. That was a different requirement when your road was constructed.
It was meant to be, it was gazetted to do just after the last war, and nothing's happened.
It's a long way back, Judy. I am sorry for your situation. Thanks for calling in. I hope that's useful.
Thank you.
Good luck. Laurie's called in from Mornington. Laurie, good morning.
Good morning, Virginia. Good morning, David. I'd like to ask David what I can do, about a certain organisation that I used to deal with some years ago as my internet and telephone service provider.
Yes.
I'm now using...
another one?
Somebody else.
I'm now using Telstra, actually. But this other organisation, which I haven't used for some years, is still billing my credit card. And I was wondering how I could stop them.
I would do two things. In relation to the most recent charges, you can go to your bank and you can request a chargeback on the basis that you cancelled the service with this company X years ago and they've no right to take your money. Yes. But whether you're a Visa or a MasterCard have different clawback periods, chargeback periods. The other thing you do is you go and you talk to the Telecommunication Industry Ombudsman and they have better phone lines. I find that internet companies have great lines for sales, great phone numbers for sales, lousy phone queues for support. Telecommunication Industry Ombudsman is the person or organisation that you talk to, and they will deal with the internet company for you.
Laurie, what's the circumstance or the manner that you used to pay to organise this direct debit with them? Because there's also another thing you can do depending on how you did it. But do you know how you did that? You just gave them the credit card details.
I gave them the credit card details some years ago.
Yeah, and they're just using that.
Also informed them that I no longer wish to use their services, and I did that some time ago.
And you changed that. Okay, well, then David's advice is the right one there. Go to the bank. Where I was heading with that, David, was that I had a similar experience. I realised that I was still being charged for something that I had stopped using as an app ages ago. I was horrified to realise this. And what I had to do, it was a bit tricky. I had to go into the settings in my phone in order to remove that direct debit. And it's not easily done. I actually had to look that one up online, which was, how do I stop a recurring debit on my iPhone? And then someone online mercifully could walk me through those steps. But sometimes that's happened where you've actually set it up on your phone and you can delete it out of your phone and they don't get the money.
Yep, works.
It works. It's just hard to establish. Did we have any homework out of that, David?
No, I've got the week off.
You got the week off. Go and get yourself a COVID-19 puppy instead and report back, okay?
I shall report back, but without the puppy.
Thanks, David. David Whiting there, your celebrated talkback lawyer. Lovely comments come in about David. I hope he's still listening because this sums it up. Pete in Geelong has texted, VT, how did you know I was called VT? Someone giving away the secret here. VT, I'm constantly astounded by David's legal knowledge. He's awesome. I don't even have to ring up. He covers everything you would need to know. Please tell him that. We know that. We know that everyone tunes in on, do we still have David up there? Or is that me? That's me, is it? Ooh. I've got a problem with my microphone. Hang on. Sounds like I'm going to electrocute myself. Seriously, doesn't it? They're all nodding at me saying, yes, you will electrocute. Excellent. Good times. Okay, if you sort of in your radio set get a flash of lightning and a bang, that will be me vaporising here in the studio. So, hold on tight. If you were watching us on our live stream on ABC Radio Melbourne, great to have your company. Thanks for tuning in. And I hope David was able to answer your calls.